Welcome to Career and Leadership Inside. It's a place where we talk to leaders who are making a difference in their company. We learn from them. We learn from what actually created the difference, what inspired them to keep going, and most importantly, how can you, as our listener, draw from the insight that has helped them be successful in life? And today, on our Leadership and Career Inside, we have our CEO of the Dream, Danielle Manto, joining us all the way from Douala, Cameroon. And one of the things we're going to be learning from Danielle today, which is the reason why she's our perfect guest for this interview, is the fact that you can be anywhere and make it global. She's doing quite a lot of explore in the space of public speaking, in the space of branding. You're going to learn a whole lot from Danielle today. But then I want to start by giving Danielle the opportunity to tell us who is Danielle Manto.
So I am Danielle Manto. I'm a brand consulting, as a brand strategist and consultant, and I'm all about helping organizations and leaders to build brands online and stand out as authorities in their industry. Over the past 5 years, I've been helping, and I've had the honor to, through your mentorship, Dr. Francis Mbunya, to work with over 500 professionals all over the world, majority from the US, UK, Canada, and also from Cameroon.
I have a quick question, and I think our audience will want to learn this. Most often, we share this success story. They're like, "Oh, Danielle was born with a gold spoon in the mouth," or "Oh, she's fortunate." At what point will you say you gain the clarity of being who you are today?
The year I graduated from master in 2018, and that was when I got in touch with you and we started communicating, because definitely you were doing amazingly well online on LinkedIn. I was just learning about our LinkedIn platform, and I noticed you. I reached out to you, and we started having this exchange. Back then, I was still in the corporate world, and I remember our first conversation, we exchanged contact, and when we actually discussed, there was this connection. Like I found you like a perfect mentor for me, because you were just what I've been praying for. Somebody who could guide me, tell me exactly where we could get started from. But yet, I was still asking myself, what am I born for? What is my purpose? Where do I get started in Cameroon? And I share my dreams with you. You were like, this is quite amazing. I sense something very big in you. And that was the first time someone ever told me that. I was so amazed. Back then, I told you some of the things I wanted. And I'm not sure you even remember, but you paid some courses for me. And you also, from time to time, you mentor me. There was this mastermind group we had. And you always encouraged me to join.
Yeah, that's right.
But things really took a different turn in 2020, beginning 2020, when I was home, I was jobless, the COVID, and it was quite challenging with me moving forward. And we have this conversation that got me thinking and praying for 2 weeks and asking God if that's really what He wants me to do. Yeah. You were like, Danielle, we've been in touch for about 1.5 years now. We've worked on several stuff. You've done 1 or 2 things for me. I believe in you, and I know you have the capacity, you have the skills to embark on something really big now. Yeah. And at that moment, and that was the word of entrepreneurship, building a career. You can become an expert in your industry. You can help other people. You've helped me with this and so on. But I believe that you will grow better if you start putting it like a business, packaging it like a real business and start promoting your business. And back then, we wrote a book. Yeah. Through your mentorship, you also encouraged me to write a book to tell my story to the world, because I have something to offer, especially to the younger generation. That's when we wrote through the Authors by Academy, Becoming Your Dream Self. 7 keys to own and control your life as a millennial. But the truth is, when I decided, it was such a difficult situation or difficult decision for me to say, okay, I want to embark on this entrepreneurial journey, because I said to myself at that moment, I have no resources, no expertise, no connections. How am I going to do this?
Yeah,
You told me you can do it.
you can do it.
All what you need is to say yes.
That's right.
And when we wrote the book, because before the book was released, you said, let's, through your mentorship, you were like, okay, let me start preparing so people get to see you, right? So when you release it, it will not be strange. Like, people have been seeing you, you've been sharing content, adding some values, promoting the business and services you're offering, and so on. You start positioning yourself. So I started doing that. But the truth is, when I started at that moment, I didn't have support from my family, from my friends. People were like, what are you doing? You just graduated not long ago from school. And what about your job? We're home with COVID and everything. But I said to myself, I believe in this path. My mentor said this, and I know that this is what I'm called to do. That was when we released the book. And then it's opened so many opportunities for me.
Yeah.
Because I started having invitation to be to host events or to guest or speaker in an event or to share my experience with others, teach them how to do what I'm doing. So I started having customers initially. It was an open door for me. It was just an open door. I started having international clients. They started connecting me with other clients over there in the US, and the trust was already established coming from you. Eventually, they didn't have to doubt about my experiences. And that's when I said, I am on the right path.
Wow.
And yes, and getting people to, call me and say, Danielle, you helped me with this. I'm so, I didn't have the courage to do this, but now because of your support and everything, this is what I'm actually achieving. True. It was quite, I would say, at the beginning was very tough.
Yeah.
It was the fact I said yes, and we started working together. I started not being afraid of what other people think or what they would say, and listening more, following what I was called to do.
This is empowering. I remember the last time I was in Cameroon, I visited your office, and uh, you're really a CEO indeed, not an online CEO having a physical office. And I've also seen you promoted the major brands in Cameroon, uh, really represent major international companies in Cameroon as well. And I kind of just going through your LinkedIn now, found out the dreams. We close to 30,000 follower. Someone will say, oh, is it possible? Now, just kind of reiterating on the major points that you actually highlighted. I remember the first time we had a conversation, I think it started with your passion because I connected with you from LinkedIn because you created a post and we connected. I was like, wow, I see something. And the first thing I kind of that I would remember is there was that clarity because when I had that first session with you, like, tell me a story. And then one of the things I can remember quite well, you share with me how you were at the university, how you had to go through to pay your fees, and how you kind of tell yourself, you know what, I don't need to compromise, I can do this. I was like, wow, very few people at that young age, when they're faced with challenges, they will be able to stand up strong. And that's where we came out with the title of your book. I quite remember, right? Becoming the Queen Son. And then we created a dream that was to become that social, that digital expert. All right. And we kind of zoom into that. And this is about 5 years down the lane. And that dream has become a powerful reality. Now, my question is, what keeps you going? Is every day like a great day for you? What keeps you going as an expert in your career?
Okay, so let's get back to the book and the impact and me telling my story there.
Mhm.
Initially, when I graduated from college, my parents didn't have money to pay my school fees. But I told myself I can do this without compromising. I did some door-to-door sales at 18. That was probably when I was 18. And then, I told myself it's possible to make it in this life without compromising, as you said.
Yeah.
It's been a very challenging journey. At every stage I knew it wasn't going to be that easy. But what actually kept me going is having the faith in God, believing that He has called me for something. And our first session brought me so much clarity because I was confused and I didn't even know what I wanted. I didn't even know what I was called to do. I didn't even know what was my skills or my gifts. So all that, initially having this session with you and you asking me these questions and I'm just answering, and within just a few minutes, you could tell me exactly what you think I should do, to make sure, I get to where I've always wanted to be.
Yeah.
So what actually pushed me is first is God, having the faith in God. And secondly, believing that God has always, in every stage of our life, God always sends somebody to support us, to help us, like call it what you want, like a destiny helper. And for me, I would say my connection with you was very important in this particular stage in my life. Sometimes I ask myself, I don't know if I would have been doing what I'm doing today if we didn't connect, because I didn't have much clarity. I didn't even know what people actually need as services. So I could, direct my services toward it, because it's not just about what actually working with you makes me to understand is it's not just about selling something or offering something, building our expertise in a particular skill. It's about going in for what we are good at, and initially something that sells in the market. Because there's no need spending 5 years to build a business just to find out that this business is not working.
It's not worth it.
Yes.
Just more like interrupting your story about that. You said something very important, which I don't want our audience to miss it. Clarity. All along, I think what I've been hearing you say is the moment you got the clarity, that belief came in, and then you also spoke a lot about faith, right? And this kind of resonates with me because recently I've been focusing a whole lot on helping people in the IT space, especially Scrum land a job. And then when I was praying on clarity, and God said, look, there are a lot of people, they invest so much money into things that do not matter, only to get an end and like, oh, I wasn't called for this. And I got the clarity to start the career acceleration bootcamp that kind of help people figure out in less than a month, what am I called for? What is my purpose in life? And how can I push this progress? Now, today we're talking to a CEO with a team and with a well-recognized brand from Cameroon, simply because she got that clarity. And which is one of the reasons I always tell people, like, it doesn't matter where you are in your career, there is still room for more. And the career acceleration bootcamp, which is something I'm going to do monthly. It's something I really encourage people to, like, hey, step into to work on it. And I will be sharing the link on this video for people who are interested. You've been talking a lot about clarity, and I just wanted to bring that in for people who are like, oh, how do I also get this clarity, or how do I know what God has called me to do? I want us to talk about your daily discipline. Now, being a boss on your own, you need to, no one is telling you, Daniel, you need to go to the office, Daniel, you need to create that post on LinkedIn, Daniel, you need to pick your phone to call that business today. So, what daily discipline or mindset help you to grow and stay focused to your vision?
Okay, thank you so much, Doc, for that wonderful question. Because I get to write so much about it, as an entrepreneur, especially in Cameroon, it can be very tough. But I refuse to see some of these challenges as challenges. I need to transform so many. Just the fact that I wake up in the morning, go to work, and keep sharing about what I'm doing. Because my mantra is consistency. Consistency, yes. Consistency. When you are consistent over time, people will notice you.
That's right.
So at the time I spent like a week, I didn't share content. People accept me, like, what's going on? We haven't seen you online. And I can't even count the number of people getting to me like, there's one thing I like about you. You walk the talk.
My God.
So sometimes I do ask myself when I'm feeling lazy or, because of the challenges and so on, and look at the people I am supporting. There are some people I call them silent observers.
That's right.
They will never tell you that they are following you. They will never comment on your posts, nothing, but they read you.
That's right.
About 3 months ago, one of my friends who is in Kenya, he reached out to me and he told me, the Kenyan friend, and he told me, do you know that I learned branding through you, through your post?
Wow.
I'm talking about someone we've been friends, but we've never talked about branding or business. We spoke about any other thing, but never spoke. He said, because I encourage him to start sharing more often. And through it, I am telling you, he met sponsors.
Wow.
He connected with unimaginable people. And today, he's building a school. I'm telling you, a massive school in Kenya for young professionals.
Yeah.
That was the moment I said, he says, he doesn't comment, I'm telling you, he doesn't comment on my post, no engagement. I do not see him, but he says,
I can relate with mine. No, I can relate with that. I share a lot of content on Agile and stuff. So most often when I travel, I'll meet people at the airport. Oh wow, your video helped me land the job. I was like, but I don't know you. I've never seen your comment, right? Or when I go out for most gatherings, so, oh, I know you from the YouTube. Now I said, wait a minute, how do we say, oh, and I was very impressed by one guy. He sent me a message. He's like, through watching your YouTube video, I've been able to learn 5 jobs. So he said something that changed my mind. It's like it's not about trying to prove that you know. It's about going for an interview to have a conversation. And he said that is what changed everything. And every interview I went to, I had the offer. So consistency is very important. Just showing up despite a challenge is very important. Now, you also mentioned the fact that your location is not a limit. It's what counts is more of your brand, which is what you really, really teach people. Now, I want us to get into something very important, which I want you to focus on. So, what would be now, if you were to say, what is the one thing, right, you can tell someone that is like, oh, I don't want to be like you, but I don't know where to start. I don't have the money. I don't know anything. What is one thing that you would like to share with them?
Okay. So what I always tell people, because I get that a lot in conferences, like after you've explained everything, I'm a little bit lost. What do I do? And I always say this: there is a framework I've put in place to businesses and people to build their brand, which is what I call the 5C framework. Follow the 5C framework. And 5C, the first C stands for clarity. Always, that is where we get started. Clarity. The second one is consistency. Third C, creativity. Fourth, collaboration. And fifth, community. Clarity, consistency, creativity, collaboration, and community. If you focus on it, whether you're building a business or a career or a brand, you will make it great. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Yeah. So I love the fact that the first one start with clarity, which is the Clarity Bootcamp, which I'm definitely organizing monthly. And I will agree with you that and consistency pays a lot. Now, some people are consistent, but then this is where you came in. You come in. They are consistent, but they are not visible, which is where you come in with branding. Right? It doesn't matter how much you know unless you can showcase that, no one will know that you know it. So, which I said, creativity now come into the space where you start showing up and that insight start coming in. Now, some people say, oh, I'm not a creative person. I'm not someone who like to communicate. I remember the first time we had a conversation, it's like, oh, I can't even talk in public, right? But then through company, you have been seeing you in so many conferences, right? And that's what consistency. Collaboration also and the power of a community, it also really what help you to stand out. There's so many things that you will get through recommendation, you will get by being part of a mentorship program. I quite remember there were quite a lot of people that were with my circle because I would say my ability to stand out on social media, especially on LinkedIn, Danielle was she's been managing my LinkedIn page now for a very long time, right? I'm about 37 thousand followers now. I would say she was the brand behind it. So when many people in my circle like, oh, how are you able to stay consistent? I was like, oh, I have a branding expert with it. She told me, look, it's the kind of content that she goes out and all of that. And because although we connected, although there was a mentorship that occurred, now you became an expert in your field. Now I come to you for advice. Hey, Daniel, what should I do? I'm trying to get this. What should I do? And lastly, I remember the point where you stepped in into my LinkedIn, were able to grow close to about 10,000 followers within a space of 3 months. Right. Exactly what you can do. So, I wanted you to tell us before we go, tell us about the dream, tell us about the services you offer, tell us about how people can connect with you and how people can find you.
Okay, so I do offer brand positioning. So I help people to gain clarity and position themselves from being invisible online to being influential and being authorities in their industries. I also do corporate training. So training in organizations, like training their team on how to communicate appropriately the values of the company online. And I've also had the opportunity of working with big brands, like you mentioned earlier, like Helen Keller International, because a lot of people think that branding is just for gurus, big shot entrepreneurs, or influential people, but it's even for NGOs. Because what many people don't know is that NGOs at a certain point, or many NGOs are there to get sponsorship, support. So they need to show their work. So it's about telling the world what you do, the impact you've created so far. So I do corporate training as well, brand positioning and strategy. I also do consulting, consultation for organizations or businesses. And I propose strategies for them to get not only be visible, but also generate revenue. Like you said again, it's not just about being, posting, sharing content. It's also about visibility, because how many people do post in a second? There are so many millions, and sometimes your content might got lost among the thousands or millions in that minute that your post is being shared. So I help you to stand out in your industry and start getting the attention of people or companies you want to have, and how to connect, network appropriately with these people and attract the opportunities you need. And I've also had the opportunity of working with Mada Cameroon. That's a multinational company. They deal in detergent brands. So we help them with billboard advertisement, TV commercials, and street marketing. So we did caravan mobbing. So we did this working in different quarters, and in Douala, we already visited about 30 quarters where we're promoting their brands. And I can only tell you from changing the packaging, because branding is about, we can also brand a physical as a person, a physical product and also a person. So we change the packaging, and today I'm very excited that the brand, without any publicity, it's the number one in the industry in Cameroon.
Wow.
So I don't want to mention other organizations, but for the past 2 years as well, I've been one of the trainers, the organization named Denis and Lenora Forentia Foundation.
Yeah.
So where I mentor hundreds of young entrepreneurs on shaping, their ideas and making them get more clarity, and eventually launch and start and run a successful business.
Wow.
Through sales, marketing, and branding. And it's been an amazing journey as well. I've partnered with the Kribi Airport, Seaport, the Kribi Seaport, where we've been organizing events. The former one, we organized the first national robotic competition in Cameroon. Wow. Where we have other people, like competitors coming from young brilliant minds, coming from over the 10 regions of where they competed, and we had 3 winners. So all this partnership helped me to build a powerful network and learn a lot, and as well, keep moving and keep growing and helping as many people as possible. And recently, I was, let's say, last year, December, I was among, since last year, I've been among the top 5 most influential people on LinkedIn in Cameroon.
Wow. That's good. Just listening to this, and all of this came from a place of clarity and determination and consistency. And I'm super happy to have you on this first episode of Leadership and Career Insight, because you have been a true leader, being able to show people that it's possible. And I believe there's so much that we still have in place to talk. I'm going to be bringing you back on the Leadership and Career Insight podcast to share more of the details on how to really help people. At the next point, we're going to be talking about how to help people in the career space stand out. I know one of the things you help a lot of my team with on positioning their resume, how to make it stand out, how to design it. We'll have a session or specifically on that. But then, before we go, what is one last advice you would give someone listening to us today?
Okay, amazing. Thank you again, Doc. I would say for somebody you might be in your house
Yeah.
and you're thinking, how am I going to go do? I have this dream and this is where I want to be in 5 years. And I will tell you, unless you start, you will never get there. It's starting with clarity. Make sure you start the career with clarity. If you need a mentor like Dr. Francis, you can reach out to him. If you need to be visible online and start generating revenue, you have me. You can definitely reach out to me because the time is now. The moment you keep procrastinating, time is going on. And by the time you notice, it will be too late. Time waits for no one. And it's time for you to get started. Forget about the judgment of others. They will never put food on your table.
That's right.
When you feel that this is what I'm called to do, get started. Because if that's what you are definitely called to do with the right mentorship and the support, help will come. Help will come. And it is true, you might go through challenging times.
That's right.
And it's okay to go through these challenging times because it is just a learning process. It is a learning process. It is through it that you grow, that you become the person you have been called and that God called and created you to become.
Wow.
So keep moving and don't be discouraged. Look up to people that are doing big in your industry, and very soon you become even more than them. Just follow their path and keep moving and doing the right thing. And with time, we'll see gradually you'll be accomplishing one step at a time. Thank you so much, Doc, for this brilliant opportunity.
Wow. This was powerful, Danielle. You have been listening to Leadership and Career Insight podcast with Dr. Francis Mbunya. And every week we are going to drop an episode that helps you to constantly grow, connect with the right leader, and to stand out. We combine clarity, strategy, and faith in order to help you go far in life. And one thing I want you to always remember, everything you're looking for, the breakthrough you're looking for is waiting for the clarity of your purpose. If you don't have clarity, you might be having speed in the wrong direction. Thank you very much again, Danielle. And I'm looking forward to see you in our next episode of Leadership and Career Insight.